everyone, it's Sarah from 10 Minute Creative, and today I have a line drawing of a mountain for you. This was a request from my mom, so check it out. You can do it in 10 minutes just as a line drawing with pen and paper, or you can do a few more minutes and pull out some watercolors and add a little bit of color to it. So enjoy. I've been having a bunch of fun drawing some mountain scenes and just doing line drawings. And in this case, what I've been doing is giving myself a circle to work within. So I just grabbed a bowl from our cabinet and gave myself a space to work in. And then go ahead and pick your favorite peak or copy a mountain like this. I found a shape like this on Instagram following some other artists. But draw in any sort of peak you want in pencil. And once I have that peak, I'm going to start thinking about giving it a more three-dimensional shape. And so what I'm doing in this case is just drawing in a ridge line that comes straight off the mountain towards the looker, if you're looking right at this peak. And I just continue it all the way down. And with these little sub peaks, I'm going to give a little more shape to these as well, just drawing in a more defined face of a peak. So that's all I'm penciling in here. Once I'm happy with my pencil drawing, I'm going to just take a number 8 micron pen or whatever thickness of a pen you want. I like a thicker one for this. And I'm going to just trace that pencil outline. And sometimes I stick to the pencil outline really well, and sometimes I just readjust the shape as I'm drawing it in. But draw that mountain outline in all the way across that page. And then keep going with drawing in the ridge lines. I've sped this part up as you get the idea. Just trace those pencil lines, give your mountain a little bit of shape. And once it has shape, what I do is I just start shading. And I think about what side I want to be darker and lighter. You can think about what side the sun might be on or the moon might be on. But I just draw some lines off the ridge line, and then what I start doing is just doing little speckles or little dots all throughout the side that I want to be a little darker. And you can really adjust the shading by the amount of dots that you put around a shape. So in this case, I wanted along the ridge line to be nice and dark, so I just put a lot of dots all along the ridge line. And then from there, as I got more to the face of the mountain, I just spread them out a little bit more. So this is one of those little tedious steps, but I just kind of kept poking away at it, just drawing a bunch of dots, giving the mountain a little bit more shape. And this is, artist choice. However you feel like doing this, it's pretty darn fun to just keep shading away until you get a shape that you're happy with. And with those little peak faces, I chose which side I wanted to be dark and which side I wanted to be light, and just drew that in as well. Next, I decided to put the moon in. In hindsight 2020, I would have put the moon on the other side just based on my shading. If you think about having a light source and where it's coming from, this moon would have been better off on the other side. But such is life. I'm going to just keep going with this. I, again, just use something from the kitchen to trace a circle, much easier than trying to actually draw one. And then I outlined this in pen. Once I have my scene all penciled in, I wanted to give the border some sort of interest. And you could draw anything around the border. And if you're not comfortable just jumping in with a pen, feel free to start with a pencil. But what I did is just drew a border that followed the circle, but not exactly. And I drew in just a whole bunch of leaves. And I'm going to speed it up because it's not very exciting to watch me draw leaf after leaf. But there's spots where I draw leaves on both sides of the circle, spots where I just draw them on one side or the other. And really, you can have fun with this. And if you think something looks funny, just keep going because it's amazing what the finished product looks like versus the process. So just have fun with drawing leaves or flowers or anything you can think of. And then I got excited and decided I wanted to draw extra little leaves. So I drew little branches off of this little wreath of leaves and added a few tiny leaves as a finishing touch. So here's me doing that. You definitely don't have to do this. I just thought it looked pretty fun. And my next important step is to erase all the pencil. And what you didn't see is me letting this sit for a few minutes to just make sure all the pen was dry, because otherwise you can smear the pen with an eraser. But once it's dry, just take your time and erase all those pencil marks, because next up is adding some watercolor. And I decided to just add color to the leaves and to the moon. So I mixed a green. You can choose any wild color you feel like, but what I did is just mixed a green and filled in all those little leaves. And then I started thinking about what I wanted to do with the moon. And the moon is a little bit more complex in terms of just painting green on the leaves. With the moon, I put water down first, and this is again the wet on wet technique. So put water down in all the way around your moon, being pretty precise with the edge. And then from there, what I did is I grabbed some paint. And what I grabbed was Payne's Gray. It's just a nice, deep, dark gray. And you'll see that I just start dropping paint into the water. And I don't drop a whole lot in because I want my moon to be pretty light. And I'll just rinse that pigment off and just start smearing that Payne's Gray or indigo or whatever color you grab around that paper. And so I'll do this until I'm happy with it. I'll grab a little bit more of that dark pigment and then drop it in a little thicker consistency until I start getting the shape and the color of the moon that I'm happy with. And with the moon, I'm just having fun with this. So it's not a perfect plan. If you want to grab a picture of a moon, feel free to draw that. But I'm just trying to get some shape to it, some dimension, and just some texture. So, and that just means different concentration of the pigment. So at first I lay it down really watery, and then I lay it down a little bit thicker. And there's my mountain.